Welcome to the Lord of the Coins. If you guys enjoy this content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell as it helps out my channel a lot. Thank you very much. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Lord of the Coins. Today we're going to go over a technical analysis of Bitcoin and just where we think it's heading in the next week or so. Before we get started though, I did want to cover some of the major indexes as it's pretty important to the performance of Bitcoin. We want to gauge the overall health of the economy and just kind of the direction of the market before we go into Bitcoin. So we're going to start with the SPY here. As you can see, SPY's just been putting in lower lows and lower highs, and we've just been getting rejected off of the 200-day moving average, as you can see, like right here and right here. And we're getting pretty close to it at the moment right here. Today was a pretty slow day. There weren't really any trades to take either, as it's probably the day. It's probably because it's the day after Thanksgiving. People are just kind of taking a little slow. But I do see a lot of reversal, a lot of confidence for reversal in this area, especially just the main thing being the 200-day moving average. But the only positive that we do have is that the 50-day is curling up. So if we can see the 50-day curl up, and maybe we can see some sort of golden cross here, see price kind of find support and move up. That is definitely possible, especially because the Fed did seem, their language was kind of dovish, so in the last meeting. So there is a possibility of a pivot here. Maybe you see a 50 basis point hike in January. We'll have to see. But this is kind of my outlook, short-term outlook on the SPY. We're definitely going to see some sort of reversal here coming soon, which means we can see some sort of downside for Bitcoin as well. But if we do find support here on the SPY, we can see some sort of reversal back up. So we'll go over to the NASDAQ here too. NASDAQ has been performing pretty well. We do have a golden cross on the NASDAQ here. Let's see. But we are entering a zone of supply here on the NASDAQ. So if NASDAQ can clear these highs over here, we're looking very, very good. Otherwise, just like the SPY, we're probably going to see some down moves, maybe find support on the 50, and then move back up here. We are getting relatively exhausted on the RSI, on the daily as well, so that is definitely something to look out for as well. And the last index I did want to check was the Russell 2K. This is the index for small cap stocks. You do always want to check the health of small cap stocks, as it gives you a more well-rounded view of the economy. So you can see that Russell 2K has been acting pretty similarly to the SPY. We're just getting rejected off the 200-day. 50-day is curling up, and we're right at the 200 right now. So definitely can see some sort of lower high here. Lower high. Oh, let me get the brush. Lower high, and then maybe rejection off the 200 again, and then move down, and possibly find support on the 50. Maybe we can see a golden cross here as well for the Russell 2K here. So that is kind of what we're looking for. If you do use volume analysis, let me get the volume out. I did kind of mark this out. I think this was in the last Bitcoin video, but something to note is that if you do have divergence in volume, so for example, let me get this tool out. You have price moving up and volume moving down. That is a sign that we will end up getting divergence, volume moving up, sell volume, and then we'll get price moving down. This happens pretty often. You can see that it happened here. So we have price moving down, and then volume moving up, and then it just kind of zigzags. So that's something to note. If we go over to the SPY, we can probably see the same thing. Let's get the volume up. So yeah, RSI is kind of relatively exhausted, although RSI does have room to go up. So we definitely could see a little bit more movement up here. Check the volume. Yeah, we do have a bit of divergence here. And then price going up. We saw the same thing here. As price moved down, we did see volume move up. So that is something to note. We're kind of at the apex here. So in the short term, I do kind of see, like probably the next week, I do see a little bit of down move on just the markets in general. So, we'll kind of leave it at that. And, it's kind of hard to predict further than that, but watching price action, just kind of gauging some of these movement of price and some of these indicators, it can give you a pretty good idea of where price is going to go in the near term. So that is kind of what we're focused for now in this video. So if you go over to the SPY, or if you go over to the Bitcoin here, this is kind of how this is the main part of my strategy. If you guys don't know, definitely check out some of my other videos, as I go into pretty in-depth on my trading strategy, but I'll go over it pretty briefly here. So we do have a sweep here. Pretty much what a sweep is it's a punishment of early longers, is I guess like the easiest way to put it. So anyone who went long here got instantly swept out by market makers, and this is where market makers go long. If you go back here, it probably taps into an order block. You can see that I just took out this previous low here, but if we do go all the way back, this is the Binance chart. Yeah, Binance chart has some history here, so we'll go over to the daily, and so Bitcoin's around here. You can probably see that it tapped into some sort of order block here. So right here. So before this move up, you can see these two down candles right here. This would be your order block. Order block is just an area of high demand or high supply. So if you bring this out here, we're just tapping into this order block again. That's honestly pretty much all it is. You definitely want to, so whenever you're trading, you always want to have 3 time frames. You always want to have your higher time frame to get your higher time frame bias, so you can kind of get an idea of the macro. You want your trading time frame. For me, in this example, I am setting up a swing trade for Bitcoin, so the 4 hour is what I'm looking at. And then in terms of your third time frame, that is your execution time frame. So I like to use the 5 or 15. That's the time frame I use to get my entry into my trade. So if you don't have 3 time frames, make sure to designate 3 of them, as it'll help out your trades a lot. So I'm setting up a swing trade, so I am going to set this up on the 4 hour here, and let's see. So we just have a ton of demand just in this entire zone. So honestly, anything in this entire zone is probably decent for a long here. I'd say it's relatively low risk, especially with the incoming pivot that's possible. But yeah, I'll get back to the strategy. So we do have this sweep here. So anyone who went long here got punished, and market makers go long here, tapping into a previous zone of demand that they have set prior. And then this is known, that's known as the X, and the Y is known as your change of character. This just confirms bullish bullish price action, and confirms bullish order flow if price tapped back in to a zone of demand. So usually the zone of demand I like to look for is anywhere from the change of character down to the last down candle before an up move. So this whole green block. So I'm actually going to get rid of this giant order block right here, so we kind of see just the short term for now. So this larger green box is like the large zone of demand that I'm looking at, and if price ever goes below this, that is what would invalidate my trade, and this is probably where my stop loss would be set. So anything in here is going to be a good buy in my opinion, and this is where I'm going to look DCA. So my initial position is going to be also in this 4 hour order block right here, this last down candle right here before this move up, which is kind of denoted by this darker green box. So a lot of how I scalp and just find entries is pretty much by this strategy right here. So I find my sweep and change of character, find my zones of demand, and once price taps in, this confirms bullish order flow, and then you'll see price move up. So with that said, I like to line up Bitcoin with what I think is going to happen with the economy. So in the economy, I think it's going to go down for a bit and then possibly see some sort of bounce. I did note that we might find support on the 50 EMA. So if you go to Bitcoin here, kind of the same general idea is that we're going to go down, and then we'll find support on these zones of demand here, and then we'll move up. I don't really use SMAs or moving average is too much when I'm swing trading for Bitcoin. I just like to use more smart money concepts, as that's basically my entire strategy, and that's how I find a lot of success in the markets. So this is just kind of what I stick to. I just stick to my system. So yeah, it just kind of lines up my theory with Bitcoin and the theory with what's going to happen with the major indexes and the economy. So if we do see some sort of down move here on Bitcoin, I do see this area, there's a lot of demand in this area. We can even take the fib here. So we're going to take the fib from this swing low to this swing high, and we're in the 0.382 to the 0.05 zone, which is good, since we actually don't want to see too much of a deep retrace, especially because we've dropped so far here, and we did a large bounce. Usually when you do a large bounce, you don't want to see a big retrace. You don't want to see this. It's very weak. What you do want to see is smaller retraces and larger moves up. So that is kind of what I'm looking for. With that said, on the macro, I just want to note that I am still bearish on the macro. I do think that we'll see lower prices on Bitcoin, going below 14K. But since I am mainly a day trader, and I also do some swing trading as well, I just want to know that these are the levels I'm looking for. So this is kind of my range, and around 18,200, maybe you can see a little bit higher. It's kind of what I'm looking at. Oops. In terms of upwards movements on Bitcoin. But those are covered. That's covered in a different video. We'll just go over kind of the short term for now. So yeah, this is definitely the area I'm looking for. So we're actually going to check our POCs. This is something I absolutely love checking. So yeah, oh, that's perfect. So we have our weekly open right here. So it seems like Bitcoin usually likes to take out its weekly open before doing any sort of move down or up. So it seems like we are looking to see Bitcoin move down. This just gives me more confidence on Bitcoin moving down to take out its weekly open before moving up. So you can see the other POCs. So we're kind of just at the weekly POC, the previous day value area low, and the previous day POC. I know it's kind of covered here. But yeah, that's just kind of what it's looking like here, and probably look to go up towards the previous week value area high after we take out the weekly open. So that is just kind of a short-term outlook here, and we'll just kind of look for some other confluences. Just stuff that I love to look for. I love to use a VWAP. I think VWAP is by far the best indicator. Just by far the best indicator. I think if you don't use VWAP, I think you're just trading blind. That's kind of, in my opinion. It's definitely possible to trade without it, but it's just so helpful. So we're actually gonna check the VWAP on the weekly here, as that's kind of just what we're looking at. And yep, that is where our weekly VWAP is. So we'll actually mark that with array. We'll type weekly VWAP. I'm actually gonna get rid of this POC indicator. So we have our weekly VWAP here in our weekly open. So if you're trading in terms of like where you're trying to see where price is going to go in terms of the next week, you want to use your you want to use a weekly time frame. And you can see that last week, this was the previous week VWAP right here. So I'm going to write previous week VWAP. I like to mark these on my chart, as a lot of these are confluences for reversal, support, and resistance. You always want to use VWAP. It's very, very good. So I'm gonna type that out, and then I do want to check the monthly, just see where we're at, and that gives me a pretty good confluence up here. This is probably not, so I'll explain. So I'm gonna write monthly VWAP here, and what I mean by this it's not exact is that honestly something more like this was probably the exact range. I probably have to go to maybe like a different time frame to really get the exact range, but if we're kind of looking at something like this, we have the monthly VWAP. As price moves up, the monthly VWAP will probably move up to somewhere around this line, you know, something like that. So that is something that I'd be looking forward to. And you know, if monthly VWAP kind of lines up with the top of the range, you can see probably, you know, high rejection here. We'll probably look for some sort of broken base within these candles, which gives you more likelihood of rejection. So yeah, I think that is just a very quick analysis of Bitcoin at the moment. I don't think too much more is honestly required. You know, there's a lot of confluence in this area, and this is definitely a trade I would take. So if you want to know like how I would personally take this trade, I definitely am thinking about it in two different ways right now. So, and I might even end up taking two different trades here. So my first trade would be an entry right at the start of this order block right here, and my stop being placed underneath this swing low, which is underneath this order block. As if you're trading purely off of this order block, your trade is invalidated once, you know, price goes past this order block. So this is kind of a trade I'd be looking for, and I'd definitely be looking for a longer term trade here, probably to wipe out some liquidity. So you do have your relatively equal highs right here, and then this buy side liquidity. I probably set my target profits at buy side liquidity, something like this. You know, if you want to set a little higher, you definitely could, and just take some profits here, maybe take some profits here. Yeah, that's definitely, you know, a strategy too. And the second way I think you could take this trade is to kind of set up a longer term trade here. So you set your stop below the swing low. You can set it below this area of demand too, but I probably set it below the swing low, as if we set a lower low, you know, we are definitely, this anything going long is really kind of invalidated. You know, we probably see lower prices. So that is probably what I would do, and then do something like this, and I would just probably slowly DCA into my position here, where just say if I had $100, I probably put like $20 in right here. I put $30 in right here, and then the other 50 down here. You want to scale in larger as the price goes down. You want to do that as it will give you a better entry. Your average price would be, you know, somewhere down in this area rather than being somewhere up here or in the middle. So you definitely want to scale your DCAs down. Those look like coffee beans. Anyways, yeah, that is kind of what I'm looking at. If you are a pattern trader, I don't really trade patterns, but if you are a pattern trader, you know, we definitely are setting up some sort of bull flag here. Something like this. So if you are a pattern trader, you know, that's definitely something you can see. Although I am definitely not a pattern trader. I'm pretty anti-pattern trading, so, but you know, I do use patterns, I do use trend lines, but not in the same way. I use them to just visualize where liquidity is, as understanding where liquidity is probably by far one of the most important things to understanding what price is going to do. So that's the only reason I would use patterns like that. But if you are an avid pattern trader, then definitely, you know, we are setting up some sort of bull flag here, so we can, you know, that more confluence to see upwards movement. So yeah, this is kind of like my quick rundown on Bitcoin in the short term. If you want a more long-term outlook, I made a Bitcoin update on that, kind of giving like the month outlook. For longer term, just drop a comment, let me know if you want to see like just what I think in the longer term, and we can definitely go over some, you know, deeper levels here, or you know, higher levels up here as well. So yeah, if you guys enjoy this content, make sure to leave a like and a subscribe, and drop a comment down below, as it, you know, it'll help my channel out a lot. But yeah, just do it if you liked it. If not, then, you know, it's all good. I'll still continue bringing you guys my best content. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, just let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.